LSU has Auburn coming to town this weekend, and you know there's going to be lots of eyes on this game, which means lots of recruits at this game as well. So that's what we're going to focus on in this video. One of the best LSU insiders in the market is coming on to give us the behind-the-scenes info on what could go down this weekend. So there could also be a couple big flips in the works. LSU fans, do me a favor. Subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We got this thing cranked up. We want you to be a part of it. Go ahead, hit subscribe. Now let's bring on Shea Dixon from the Bengal Tiger for more. Shea, big game, big recruit, so why not be bringing in the number one QB and the number one player in the 2025 class, Bryce Underwood. He will be in Baton Rouge. Now, he's made some visits this fall, and he's expected to make a decision in early January. So he could be about 3 months away from the number one player in the 2025 class coming off the board. What's your read on where LSU sits heading into this visit?
I think they're certainly in the top group. And if you want to say he's got a top 2 or a top 3, I could hear all those arguments. But I know that I feel confident that LSU's in it, and I'll tell you why. This is a guy that Joe Sloan and this staff have been in on for well over a year. And he's been to campus numerous times this offseason and did so 3 times with his mom, with his dad, with his family. So they've got a good feel for what LSU has to offer. Obviously, him being a Belleville kid, he's in state for Michigan. They're another team from Michigan is notable for me. So I look going towards this weekend as being really key for LSU because, as you said, 3 months away from a potential decision, this could be the last time you get him on campus. It also gives him the opportunity to see a game in Tiger Stadium, which he has not done yet. All of his visits to Baton Rouge have come during the offseason. So as LSU swings for the fences, number 1 overall prospect, number 1 quarterback, 5-star, this is a guy that you look into a huge visitor weekend at LSU, he's the headliner.
Yeah, absolutely. And if Bryce is going to be there, why not put some elite skill recruits on either side of him during the game? And I'm talking about number 1 running back in the 2025 class, Harlem Berry. He's going to be there. And the number 2 ranked wide receiver and LSU commitment, DeCorian Moore, will also be there. So I want to ask you about Harlem Berry. He is the number 1 back in the 25 class. We know LSU wants to sign an elite running back in that class. Where do you think the Tigers stand right now?
I'm not betting against Frank Wilson for a running back, certainly, and not one out of New Orleans. That's right up his alley in terms of what one of the greatest recruiters of the past couple of decades, the top recruiters, I'd say, most respected in Frank Wilson. Recruiting Louisiana, yes, check. Recruiting New Orleans, even more of a strength. Recruiting running back out of New Orleans, we've seen it with Leonard Fournette and plenty of others. So I think I feel pretty good about LSU's chances with Harlem Berry. And Josh, you mentioned it. I don't know if you want to call it the holy trinity of wish lists for LSU fans, but imagine you land a Bryce Underwood at quarterback, and in this situation, you get a Harlem Berry, the number 1 running back. Oh, and you've got DeCorian Moore already committed as a 5-star, who as a junior could finish as the number 1 wide receiver in the country. Regardless, you put a 5-star quarterback, 5-star running back, 5-star receiver, and then add whatever else you have to the offensive skills, kind of weapons additions to that 2025 class. It is certainly a dream scenario, but LSU is at least going through kind of some steps here where one guy's in the boat, another guy in Harlem Berry you feel great about, and then Underwood, as I said, you're getting him on campus at the same time as those guys. Mm-hmm. And Josh, at a time when LSU's offense is ranked number 1 in the country, right up there with Washington, who had a bye week, but Jaden Daniels right now has accounted for more yards than anybody in college football. I can assure you Bryce Underwood has been made well aware of that and the success they've had.
All right, let's flip it over to the 2024 class, moving out of 25 back to 24. Now, interesting development happened this week. C.J. Jackson, he dropped Georgia Tech, was committed there for several months. He's a big-time edge prospect out of Tucker, Georgia, goes about 6'3", 220 pounds, and he's back on the market. So, Shea, are we expecting C.J. Jackson to show up in Baton Rouge fresh off this Georgia Tech decommit? LSU fans, hold on a second. I got to tell you about something that has changed my fall football season for the better, and that's HelloFresh. I've been trying HelloFresh recently, and I have no idea why I waited so long. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. It's so easy. Skip the steps of going to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make cooking easy and fun, and most importantly, affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Let's face it, we're busy during the fall. The routine goes like this. We work all week and we watch football on the weekends. That's what we do. A busy fall schedule doesn't always leave you with time to spare. And with HelloFresh, you don't need to spend all evening in the kitchen to whip up a wholesome meal. With their quick and easy recipes and 15-minute meals, you can get a tasty dinner on your table in less time than it takes to get takeout or delivery. A new season calls for new meals, and HelloFresh has a fresh fall lineup of delicious dinners and more to choose from. Take your pick from 40 weekly recipes that suit your lifestyle, from veggie to family-friendly to fit and wholesome. This week, I was in the kitchen, chefing it up like I do. You know, your boy can cook a little bit, but it's great because I get home from work and all the ingredients were there. I didn't have to buy way too much at the grocery store and throw out all the extra. And anything I cook is delicious. But I got to tell you, HelloFresh makes it so easy and so fast. I don't know if I'll be going back to the grocery store anytime soon. So here's what I got for you guys. Go to HelloFresh.com/50 Josh Newberg and use code 50 Josh Newberg for 50% off plus 15% off the next 2 months. HelloFresh, I have no idea why I waited so long.
We've got that confirmed, and that's big news. CJ told On3 Chad Simmons that he will be in Baton Rouge this weekend. And let me give you the skinny here from an LSU perspective. They were chasing really 2 edge rushers over the summer and hosted them both, CJ Jackson on an official visit and then Colin Simmons for a number of visits. And when Colin Simmons popped for Texas, that left LSU without, one of their 2 top edge rushers, and CJ Jackson was committed to Georgia Tech. So where does LSU go from there? It seems to me Colin Simmons is pretty locked in right now with Texas. CJ Jackson, however, decommits from Georgia Tech. This is a guy that we at On3 have had for a long time now as a top 100 prospect, best edge rushers in America. For him to decommit and then turn right around and visit LSU this weekend, I think is telling. He told Chad that Colorado and LSU were 2 schools that really kept in contact with him even when he was committed to Georgia Tech. So I think this is a player we're really watching closely because if it does go LSU's way, if he does end up in this class, he certainly would be one of LSU's highest ranked commits at a position, D-line and edge rusher, that they are continually looking to address this cycle.
All right, then let's cover that flip topic that I teased at the top. Now, Bernard Causey, he's an in-state cornerback that committed to Ole Miss back in June, but it seems like LSU is double backing. Do they have a shot to flip him?
They do, and I'm not far from putting in an On3 RPM pick for that flip to happen. Sam Spiegelman, our national recruiting analyst, already has his pick in. And obviously he's been around the New Orleans area a good bit over the years and has covered BB Causey, who committed to Ole Miss over the summer, but he was at LSU's camp, performed very well, tested well, and coming off some injuries, LSU just wanted to see how he played as a senior. He's looked great. They made the offer, and now you're up against Ole Miss, and I do think that they are able to flip him. They've already flipped 1 Ole Miss commitment in a Louisiana native with Joseph Cryer. I do expect BB Causey at some point between now and signing day to end up in LSU's class, and here's why I think why. Anyone watching LSU football right now knows that there's issues in the defensive backfield. This is the #1 offense in the SEC and the worst defense in the SEC, and it's because they have not been able to really strike gold in the transfer portal in back-to-back years at corner. Brian Kelly and this staff want to go back to developing high school guys. They've already got a couple of guys committed at corner. They want to add at least 1 more, and right now they are honing in very much on Bernard Causey coming out of New Orleans.
All right, well, this weekend, LSU Auburn, we're expecting big visits, and Bengal Tiger will have you guys covered. Shea Dixon, thanks for dropping by the Inside Scoop, talking a little LSU recruiting today.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that content, be sure to subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We have a new page dedicated only to recruiting. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now.